In my last life, I was the classic naive sweetheart. I was betrayed by my cheating husband and my fake bestie. In this life, I'm rewriting my destiny. I decided to gift the scumbag to my fake bestie myself. Let her carry the fate I was supposed to endure. Hey guys, it's Amber here. Today, let's dive into how Mesa's revenge plan levels up. In her previous life, Mesa, our heroine, was stabbed in the back by Chad and T. She woke up, 10 years in the past, reborn by surprise. After sparring with the cheating duo for some time, Mesa had reached her limit. She just couldn't take it anymore. She finally took charge and dumped the scumbag. But little did she know, she had triggered fate's taboo. The rule? She had to find someone else to take on her misfortune, to break free, or face a cruel backlash. Luckily, at the final moment, Suzuki, the male lead, showed up just in time. Suzuki saved her, and turns out, he's on his second life too. In his last life, Suzuki was just a fleeting presence in Mesa's story. Seeing Mesa engaged to the jerk, he chose to stay away. But when they crossed paths again, he never thought it'd be a meeting between the living and the dead. At Mesa's funeral, the police cuffed the jerk and T. That's when Suzuki realized her death wasn't an accident. Later, Suzuki ended up in a car accident himself. She was sent back in time, 10 years before it all began, only to save Mesa at the pivotal moment. Saving her was one thing, but that wasn't all. Neither of them mentioned that they were also reborn. They both decided to stay quiet about it. Suzuki claimed he was just passing by. He caught a glimpse of Mesa, so he followed her. Just a coincidence, he said. Mesa didn't think much of what Suzuki said. She simply assumed she misheard him. Naturally, their relationship deepened further. Suzuki came clean. They were college classmates all along. Worried about Mesa's safety, he even had his sister stay over to keep her safe. Not sure if her sleeping pose looks familiar to anyone here, but it totally reminds me of my wife's. Either way, it's just like how my wife sleeps. Meanwhile, over on T's side, that same night, the jerk told her about the breakup. She assumed she was the one who ruined it for them. T's face-changing skills? Absolutely Oscar-level drama. The next day, Mesa stayed up all night thinking. Mesa finally cracked the code of fate. Getting out of this mess? Impossible. She has to set up T and Chad. No other way. And bam, she bumped right into Chad. Chad was back, begging for forgiveness, asking to start over. Mesa? Of course she said yes. Because T? She'd never chase a guy Mesa dumped. Phase 2 of her T-Chad matchmaking? Officially underway. Mesa invited T out for dinner on her own terms. Mesa pretended to be shy, then casually dropped a bomb. Meet the parents. She acted all nervous and fragile, hinting it was about meeting the future mother-in-law. T was totally confused. Wait, what? Wait, weren't you two breaking up? And now you're meeting the parents? How? Mesa cranked up the pressure on her even more. Argument? What argument? Just a tiny monsoon blowing over the continent of our love. That's it, just a little seasonal breeze. She sweet-talked her way out of the breakup, leaving T scratching her head. T was blindsided. What a sugary slap to the face. Things completely blindsided T. She never saw it coming. T decided to crank things up a notch. Next, a full-blown event. The company was gearing up for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. They set up a grand tasting event. Mesa and Suzuki, both with second chances, knew the truth. They knew the Tokyo Olympics would end up delayed a year due to the pandemic. They tried to stop it from happening. But this unexpected black swan event, two people's efforts were crushed by the relentless wheels of history. And so, the tasting event kicked off with a bang. Mesa's haunting memories came back to torment her. Back then, this event had a minor mishap. There was a powerful old man with significant authority. At the tasting event, he ate a peanut-filled bun. He ended up hospitalized due to a severe allergic reaction. It happened because a female employee handed him the wrong ingredient list. And guess who was in charge of the booth? The Future herself. In the end, Future was reassigned to a branch office because of this. Mesa wasted no time and jumped into action. She rushed to have all the peanut buns removed from the stall, but she found out Suzuki had beaten her to it. Suzuki had already moved all the peanut buns to the back kitchen. He lied, saying they were specially reserved for other guests. The real reason? Suzuki, being a reborn soul, just wanted to protect his little sister. But what he never saw coming was, both of them walked out of the kitchen one after another. The jerk caught sight of it. What a coincidence. Just days ago, T had already poisoned the jerk's mind. T claimed the two had feelings for each other. The jerk wasted no time chasing after them. He told Suzuki to back off from his fiancée. He assumed Suzuki would step back, but Suzuki didn't show him an ounce of respect. Suzuki didn't hold back. "You're not worthy of her." The jerk was hit with a crushing blow to his ego. And fighting back? Not an option. Realizing he couldn't win, he just kept chugging booze to numb himself. When Mesa saw this, she knew it was her moment to strike. Things got messy after some drunken mistakes. That night, Mesa stayed late at work, burning the midnight oil. T casually approached her, suggesting they grab drinks after work. Mesa politely declined, saying she had to work late. But T wouldn't take no for an answer. She insisted she didn't mind waiting. After a few rounds of back and forth, Mesa finally chose to reveal her true intentions. "It's not that I don't want to chill with you, girl, but my boyfriend, the love of my life and soon-to-be husband, the so-called investment genius. We're heading to a hotel tonight for a special romantic evening." Ouch, every word feels like a stab straight to T's heart. "If you're playing dirty, don't expect me to play nice." On her bag? Mesa's hotel key card, just sitting there. T can't handle Mesa right now, but taking down a small-time scumbag like you? Easy peasy. She bawled her eyes out, looking like a total damsel in distress. And just like that, she flung herself into his arms. She began playing the damsel in distress. "Why does no one love me, no matter how hard I try?" Chad was absolutely loving every second of it. He thought it was his charm working overtime. Little did he know, he was just Tom getting played. Once the mood was perfectly set, T pulled out the room key. If it's thrills they wanted, she was taking it all the way. T dropped the act, threw herself at him, one wild night before the wedding. Chad, being peak scumbag, didn't even flinch. She quickly flagged down a taxi. The moment she got in, impatience took over. But Mesa had planned every move. Her emotions were a storm she couldn't put into words. It felt like a victory and a defeat. The two she once loved most had betrayed her again. The pain was too much to bear. Suzuki showed up just in time. They stayed at the bar till morning. He showered her with sweet nothings, but Mesa got so drunk she didn't catch a single word. The taste testing event wrapped up perfectly. The next morning, she finally woke up. The jerk finally snapped out of it. He spotted T and just leaped off. But come the next day, the investigators still showed up at her door. The old exec from her last life ended up hospitalized again. Peanut buns got him this time too. Wait, didn't Suzuki already stash all the peanut buns? So, what's happening here? Turns out, just after they both left yesterday, Mesa's slacker boss, Tomita, was goofing off in the kitchen, and then he spotted a whole box of buns. He immediately thought, why not keep them for himself? Then, he ran into the old man. And right there, he started shamelessly sucking up. He wouldn't stop until he handed over a box of buns. And guess what? T walked by at that exact moment. Futien asked her to grab a list of finalized food products. And, of course, she grabbed the wrong list. Futien and T, being the masterminds behind this, obviously knew they were to blame. They wasted no time shifting the blame onto Mirai. Because technically, all the steamed buns were supposed to be handed out at the stall, and Mirai was the one in charge of the stall. Just as Mirai was about to be scapegoated again, Suzuki showed up just in time. He declared that he'd take full responsibility and personally investigate the issue. Meanwhile, on the other side, the jerk was on cloud 9, basking in his success. At home, his marriage stayed intact, while he flirted freely outside. He thought he had hit the jackpot in life. But after every high, there's bound to be a crashing low. Mesa called him, urging him to check the news immediately. That crypto you bet everything on? It just crashed. The jerk was completely stunned. He truly believed that going all in was the smartest move. Especially in crypto. He poured all his savings into this. He even mortgaged his family's land for a bank loan, and took out loans from shady lenders. Now, he's lost it all. He can't even buy a house anymore. Mesa saw all of this coming. She smiled and said, "It's fine. A house? No big deal, she'd cover it. After all, she paid for it in her last life anyway. And if T ever learned the guy was flat broke, why on earth would T still marry that jerk?" But she had one rule. No one could know she was the one who paid. Right after that, Mesa kept up her act in front of T, showing off her perfect relationship. "Guess what? The jerk and I already bought a house," she announced. "And he paid for everything," she bragged. She acted like she was living the dream. Next, it was time to meet the parents, at a luxurious restaurant, obviously. "Come on, sis, just wish me luck," she said smugly. When it comes to Chad's parents, they're an absolute circus act. It must have taken decades of brain fog. They couldn't have raised such a mama's boy. In her past life, Mesa was promised a private life after marriage. But guess what? Her mother-in-law basically moved in. Take Hot Pot, for example. She acted all kind by serving Mesa a big bowl of meat. But the second her precious son walked in, she whipped out the fancy meat just for him. And what did Mesa get earlier? Artificial meat. Yup, the price gap was massive, 10 times more, to be exact. So in this lifetime, don't blame me for going full throttle. Meeting the parents this time, Mesa went all out, a bold, spicy outfit that turned heads. Clearly, she wasn't here to act meek. Her future mother-in-law wasted no time, passive-aggressive as ever, asking, "So, are you ready for marriage?" She nitpicked Mesa's looks and life choices, acting like marriage meant losing her identity. Mesa clapped back, "What century are you stuck in? Marriage doesn't turn women into free housekeepers." Then came the low blow. The mother-in-law attacked Mesa's background in front of everyone. Mesa had enough and fired back, "You're not my mom. You're just some lady." The guy jumped in, desperate to save face, but Mesa silenced him with, "Who do you think you are?" Mesa stood her ground, saying if her father were alive, he'd be proud, not for obedience, but for her clear-headed strength. Don't force your outdated, absurd values on others, she said, sealing the deal. As dramatic as this scene got, Mesa's clapback still had a touch of mercy. The scumbag, furious, demanded Mesa apologize and come crawling back. But Mesa dropped the bomb. "The one who ruined this marriage is you, not me." She smirked, saying she'd known all along who he had his little show with that night. The scumbag thought he'd pulled it off flawlessly. He got shut down instantly. T strutted in, looking all dolled up. To anyone watching, it looked like she was here to meet the parents. But this was exactly the reaction Mesa was aiming for. And honestly, it's what T wanted too. Two plots unfolding, each with its own drama. Suzuki and his crew made a special trip to the hospital to apologize to the old man. The day of the big event arrived. T's outfit looked almost identical to Future's, so the grandma was convinced that it was Future herself who handed her the watch that day. But Suzuki had already planned ahead. He made sure there were recordings on event day. "We cross-checked everyone with the video footage. It didn't take long to identify the real culprit, T." The next morning, Mesa was on her way to work. The scumbag cornered her again. "It was just one drunken mistake," he pleaded. "Forgive me, please," he begged. Mesa? Believe him? Not a chance. After all, she was the one pulling all the strings. They walked together, ending up in the company lobby. The big showdown was about to begin. Mesa staged a tearful public takedown, crying, "You betrayed me and T's friendship." The scumbag froze, caught in the spotlight. Good deeds? Quiet. Scandals? They spread like wildfire. Everyone's buzzing about the scumbag and T, the shameless duo. It shot straight to the top of the company's trending board. Add to that the truth about the peanut bun scandal finally coming out. T got the ultimate farewell gift, termination. And yet, even after all this, T still dared to beg Mesa for mercy, hoping Mesa would plead her case to Suzuki. Mesa decided to fan the flames a little more. With a calm tone but cutting words, Mesa said, "I trusted you, until you crawled into my husband's bed." She twisted the knife. "You've lost everything, your job, your friends, your credibility. Even the scumbag doesn't want you." Finally, with a smile, she said, "Don't worry, I'll invite you to my wedding. You can witness our happiness firsthand." After holding back for ages, she finally snapped. Every single word pierced T straight to the core. When T got back, she realized something. That dog Chad was truly ignoring her now. And then he turned around to flaunt his love with Mesa. Anger, at its core, reveals one's own weakness. T isn't the kind of woman to go down that easily. That day, the company booked the venue again for a taste test. With Tanabe out, Manager G took over as section chief. Everything was finally heading in the right direction. Right at this moment, T arrived at the scene, with Chad's mom in tow. The chaos kicked off when T brought Chad's mom on stage, declaring, "I'm pregnant." Only T knows if it's real or just a bluff. But with this bombshell, Mesa and Chad's marriage was officially over. T publicly announced she's marrying Chad. T thought she had just scored a galaxy-level victory. I've won, she thought. True power? It's when your enemies lose every single round. She has no idea. It's Amber here. You'll have to wait until next week for the next episode. Catch you next time. Bye.
Questions down to this girl, doubt is lurking in the room. The tune is sitting knows the way I choose. I'm acting up, don't I guess I'm